I'm Ian Fitzsimmons on Football Today. Albert Breer, NFL Insider, lets you know how Art Briles could end up in the National Football League. Vikings Insider Ben Gessling on how Adrian Peterson might retire early. And we'll let you know why a fat man weighing 325 getting naked is a good thing. Subscribe on the Listen tab of the ESPN app.
It is a new era, folks, and you are in very good hands. Welcome into First Take. Thank you so much for hanging with us. Oh, Coach K here. He's only had 18
Did you say Coach K?
first-round picks.
Did you say Coach K?
Coach
Cal.
Okay, you had a Freudian slip there.
Cal. I just want to see if you're on your toes.
Here you go. You were good.
You ready?
You're good.
You good?
Yeah.
18 first-round picks out of Kentucky?
I've coached really good players. We talked about it over there. Character matters with how we do this. I can't bring in 5 guys and have one of them be just a bad guy that doesn't care about anybody else. We've been able to go out and get kids with character. We've had a 3.0 grade point average 6 to 7 years. We've had 14 guys graduate, 3 graduate in 3 years. No one hears all that stuff. APR, we're in the top 10%, which means the NCAA, how they're rating us academically. These are great kids who let us coach them. Now, here's a great one.
Well, hurry up, because I'm waiting
I know.
for you.
You want to come back at me. 18 scored first round 1 year. You ready? Half of the 18 scored more in the NBA than they did for us.
Well, let me
What
say
does that
this.
mean?
Let me say this.
He's back, Stephen.
First things first. This man and I go back 20 years when he was coaching at UMass and I was covering Temple University.
And he killed me then.
Don't interrupt me. I'm talking, okay?
Skip interrupted you all the time.
And he's gone. And he's gone now, okay? But here's the deal. Go back 20 years. He coached at UMass. I was covering Temple. One of his great former assistants who was the head coach at Drexel, Bruiser Flint, is one of my great friends. John Calipari is one of the great coaches. He's accomplished a great deal. I'm happy to be here. He's the only reason I'm here on my vacation, because I'm on vacation till July 11th. But I came in today for him.
Yeah,
okay?
because you heard me saying I'm going to bash them.
That's right.
There you go.
That's right. And we are here. So I appreciate the fact that he's here. He deserves all the laudables he receives. I don't blame him for talking about Kentucky, because if Coach K can coach Team USA, which we'll get into later on, he can sit here and bloviate about Kentucky. But he did say he was coming to beat me down. Let's go.
Can't wait. Let's do it. On that note, we ready, folks? So after winning, the Cavs bringing the first championship there to Cleveland in 52 years, our Dave McMenamin talking to LeBron, saying that he is all in with the land. I love it here in Cleveland. I have no intentions of leaving. There are some technicalities to take care of. I'll leave up to my agent. That's right from the horse's mouth. We will start with you, Coach Cal. How long will LeBron stay in Cleveland?
I think he'll finish his career there. I really believe that. And unless there's some crazy thing that happens that we would all look at and say he should have left. I don't see it happening. I think they have an ownership group that gets it. I think what they've done with the moves they've made, you got to look at David and the management. I think he's happy with Coach Lou and the job he's done there. You know, he's been able to mold that team, and they'll probably make some moves to even see if they can get better. But, you know, he's home. He's with family. He brought something to that city that they've been yearning for, and it was one of their own that brought it back. It wasn't somebody from somewhere else. I'm just happy for him, their team, their coach, their owners. They're all good people. Good luck to him.
I think that when you talk about LeBron James, I don't think it was an accident that the L.A. rumors were out there, that the Miami rumors were out there, because I think that somebody as great as LeBron James consistently looks for new challenges. Right now, that doesn't appear to be the case. The great challenge is repeating as champions in Cleveland, establishing a level of dominance. He doesn't have to cement his legacy. That has already been cemented. We understand there's nothing to debate about LeBron James any longer. He's a 3-time NBA champion. He's a 3-time NBA Finals MVP. He's a 4-time league MVP. He's considered to, in my mind, the greatest small forward to have ever played the game of basketball. There's nothing to cement about his legacy. But I do think, as time goes on, unless he has an ownership stake in the franchise and he ain't trying to leave, I do see LeBron James at some point, not this year, obviously, but next year or possibly a couple of years down the road, looking for a new challenge to close out his career, having fulfilled the promises that he made to the city of Cleveland and the Northeast Ohio area. And I definitely think that it's plausible and it's possible that LeBron James will go to a bigger market. Doesn't need to because
For
he's
what
LeBron.
reason?
Because again, new challenges.
He needs another shoe deal.
A new challenge. He doesn't need another shoe deal. He doesn't need more money. He doesn't need more money. He got to deal with Warner Brothers. He's got a whole bunch of stuff going on.
His family there.
That's right. But again, I do believe that. Listen, we're talking. First of all, I laugh when people like you say that. Let's think about what we're talking about here with John Calipari. Let's just take John Calipari into consideration.
Can I cut in on you?
You may in a second. Okay? Because this ain't coaching. This is the show. I don't play for you. All right. I love you though. Here's the deal. John Calipari, UMass.
Yep.
John Calipari, Nets.
And got
John
fired.
Calipari. Well, don't worry about the firing part. They shouldn't let you go. But here's the point. Goes to I don't even get me started with that. Then he's assistant coach of Philadelphia. Then goes to Memphis. Then goes to Kentucky. I'm sorry, John Calipari, you could have been comfortable various places. What did you do? You left because you were looking for new challenges, and that's what you did. More money too, that never hurts, but you were looking for new challenges. Am I correct in that? Really? Go ahead.
Every time I left, it was for more of a challenge.
Right.
But the challenge he has is to repeat and keep Cleveland at that point. And I'm saying this again. If there was an issue with ownership, there is none. If there was an issue with management, there is none. There was a player issue. They don't have good enough players, and it can't change because of salary cap and all that. Okay, I don't see any of that. And I look at this, and I think there's a big thing about joy in your life. His joy was bringing this to Cleveland. And now the point becomes, does he get as much joy out of repeating and keeping that going like they had joy in San Antonio? None of those guys left. They didn't worry about leaving in a new challenge. It was right there. They built something. They ran with it. They all sacrificed, gave up minutes for years extending. And I think that in my mind, and again, I hit him after he hits me back. He's one of the great guys of all time.
Yes, he is.
And I have scholarshiped his sons, and
yeah, we'll talk about that too.
You know, he's all that stuff, and I just don't see it. I don't. Maybe I'm missing something. I don't see it.
I look at LeBron James and I say this. First of all, the relationship with Dan Gilbert. Okay, let's understand something here. There's a respect there. He's the owner. LeBron James is a superstar. We get that. Gotta respect Gilbert and give him a boatload of credit. Spent over $108 million in salary. Highest payroll in the league. Threw out a whole bunch of money. He's going to spend some money in the luxury tax dollars, whatever. He put his money where his mouth is, which is what you want an owner to do. But their relationship is not ideal. They accept one another. One would say they tolerate one another. I'll throw a question back to you, Coach John Calipari. If an owner had said the things about you that Dan Gilbert said about LeBron James when LeBron James departed in 2010 and wrote that letter, you might go back and work because it's a greater goal. You might go back to a place in spite of him. But could the relationship
Have you ever heard this term? Business.
Business?
This was business,
right.
Okay? And let me say this. You're talking about Dan, and I'm more impressed with what Dan has done in the city of Detroit.
I agree.
Even what he's helping to do in Cleveland.
Yeah.
And when you're dealing with somebody like that, that's who he is. So whether he lost his mind for a minute and said stuff and wrote, they didn't want that to happen. But I think they've gotten by it. So I think you're wrong there. And business beats business. And that.
Well, from a business perspective, let's analyze that for a second here. Are we assuming that Dan Gilbert is going to continue to have the highest payroll in the league?
No, I bet you that
he's going to trim that to some degree.
I think he will. And I think he will, but not at the expense of we cannot win now. Because if he does that, you and I know, now LeBron has to look at this in a different light.
But that's what I'm saying to you. Let's not anticipate that LeBron is going to stay in Cleveland forever, into perpetuity, no matter what.
I agree.
You're going to have to meet certain requirements in order to appease him.
Can we agree with this? If he does decide to leave, we all could leave. We could sit here and say, we see why.
Okay.
It's not going to be like, why would he have left? It will never be that. That ain't going to be what it is. It's going to be something that we all see and say, well, what did you expect him to do?
Or it could be something along the lines of LeBron James reaching a point where he says, okay, I want new challenges. I have fulfilled my promise to Cleveland 2 times, 3 times over. Life is good. I want to move on to a new challenge before I end my career. There's nothing wrong with that, particularly if you leave a foundation in place that's going to enable you to continue to be a title contender. That is plausible.
That's talking head stuff, in my opinion.
That's right. Okay.
That's what
but you know what?
You know what? They could say it about me. Well, he's never going to be fulfilled till he goes to the NBA. It has nothing to do with why I stayed at Kentucky.
Okay. What has something to do with it then?
Well, for me, there becomes a point where you have enough money.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime I speak, it's not that I said something. What did he mean?
All right.
Who is he taking a show? What?
Okay.
So there comes a point of fame, which is, I'm fine. I don't really need to be here. So wait a minute. Let me finish.
Okay.
So now there becomes, what brings joy to you? All this other stuff doesn't matter to me. What brings joy? One, I'm going to coach my own son. He's joining the team.
Okay. That's good.
And my wife tells me I'm playing him. She said, and I've said, look, guys, I sleep with this kid's mom. I mean, I got a little problem here.
There we go.
Happy wife, happy life.
How about that?
But the other side of it is, what brings joy to me is that this day happens, and every year it happens, there are 4, 5, 6, 7 families that I can sit there and say, life has just changed. At times, first time in their lives they can breathe. And they breathe. That brings great joy. Now, I want to win every game. I want to win every championship. I want to be in the Final Four every year.
Right.
But that doesn't bring joy to me. That's part of my job and what they expect.
Coach John Calipari.
This brings joy.
Coach John Calipari, you're on First Take, bro. Who you think you're talking to? You ain't never ever consider, entertain leaving
I did.
Kentucky. That's what I'm saying. So you thought about it, didn't you? I understand you did it, but you thought it. You're talking like it's not even a thought that came over your mind. Of course it's a thought.
Well, I'm saying to you,
okay,
he might have someone come at him and he looks at it, but at the end of the day, what is going to bring the most joy to you? What is going to bring the most? He doesn't need any more money.
Okay, let me ask you this question. All right, I got you. Let me ask you this question. John Calipari won a national championship at Kentucky. What I would ask you is this. Is there anything that you could imagine that could potentially eclipse that level of joy that you felt if you were to repeat it at Kentucky?
Yeah.
What would that be?
It would be 7 first-round draft picks, the 1 and 2 and 3 pick, because we got the 1 and 2. And in sports, it's the only time the 1 and 2 have ever gone in sports. From the same school to the draft.
Okay.
I say all this to you that when we won the national championship, my wife came up on stage, and I looked at her and said, that's over. We're done with that. In other words, everybody tried to say, well, he's never won a national title. I don't have to hear it anymore. We won it. Now let's get on with our life. Our life has become, how do we continue to help these kids? How do we love them so they love each other? When we help them, they know, and they're trying to win. More than any other team, they want to win. And I know that. If we win and win it all, it helps them even more. It's not the other way around. It's the program. We put up banners. It's about that banner right there. Take their names off the back of the jersey.
Well, why can't it be about both?
It is.
Why can't it be about, exactly.
But here's what it's about both in this way. You do right by these kids. They're going to do right by each other, and you're going to win championships. Okay, let me say this. In the 6 years, we've won more games than any team, been to more Final Fours than any team.
Speak up. Don't mumble. You ain't Shaq. You ain't Shaquille O'Neal. Don't mumble.
I'm saying all the stuff on the court is more than anybody else in the country's done, and that's not been the total focus. The focus starts with the kids and doing right by them. Look, I have a job. Help them get jobs. I have a job. Help them get jobs. Now, I have to teach life skills that are going to carry them. You look at John Wall. What did he just get? What award did he just get? And Anthony Davis was the other guy. Look at my kids in the league, and you know them all.
Yes, I do.
Great.
They're great guys. They're great guys.
And they're prepared.
But They
You're
can
getting beat
play.
in this one.
I'm not getting beat. I'm waiting for you to beat me, John Calipari. I'm ready, but I'm not.
He's
But
1-0 right now.
whatever. The point is
what's
this.
that show they
great
put
players,
the numbers up?
They're gonna.
Oh,
What is that show you guys have?
I know what it ain't numbers. It wasn't
Around the horn thing.
Yeah, around
the horn.
Whatever.
Nation back in the day, they used to do it.
Well, I don't do that. We're first take. We do our own thing.
I got score
And
right here.
So in the end,
1-0,
hold
Coach
on.
Cal.
In the end, here's what it comes down to. Getting back to LeBron. Getting back to people like yourself and others. When in the end, what we're talking about here is this. New challenges. Yes, your players, to use players for your program. They want to succeed. Obviously, you want to give them life skills. You want to prepare them to ascend to another level. That's very admirable. And I have no doubt that you mean what you say. But let's not just gloss over the importance of winning and being great and understanding that you have to establish
I'm knocking this out of the park. I'm going to make one sentence. Everyone out there is going to say, Stephen A., you got beat. Okay? Here's the statement.
Go ahead.
Please write this down.
Okay.
This is big-time stuff.
I'm waiting.
Go with the known. Leave the unknown alone. You got anything for that?
Yes.
Oh, my gosh. You're just saying stuff.
Yes.
You're thinking it right
Stephen
now.
A., of course he has something.
You know me well enough to know I say what I mean what I say. You can go with the known and leave the unknown if you want to. But at the end of the day, how are you really pushing yourself if you're going the safe
If
route?
you haven't, well, early in my career, I did take the chances. I went to.
That's right, and look at where you are now.
But just listen, he's not at that stage. He's already done that. He went to Miami and then back to Cleveland.
Okay.
He did that.
Okay.
So when I went to the Nets, I had never coached in the NBA, never played in the NBA, was a hell of a player. I was small, but I was slow.
Okay.
That was me as a player.
Okay.
I go to the NBA without knowing. I remember Kerry Kittles. We're 3 weeks into the season. He comes up to me and says, Coach, all the stuff we did in training camp, we're not doing any of it now. I said, because none of it worked. We had to change on the run. Anyway, I then go to Memphis. Why would I leave what we had going at Memphis to go to Kentucky? Because of what you said. It was going to be a new challenge and a different stage.
And it's
you
the
know
best
what?
thing that ever happened.
It was the best thing, but let me say this. Now, what's left for me? Another national
I agree with
title?
that. Time out. We got to go. But I want to say this.
Why do we have to go?
Because we got
revisit
another
it.
segment to make. But I want you to know, you lost that argument because you said go with the known, leave the unknown alone, but just confirm that going with the unknown, which was going to Kentucky,
Guess what?
is the
Now
best
it's
thing.
unknown.
So you lost the argument.
Oh,
You
stop
lost.
it. Stop
Okay?
it.
Let's
All right,
move on.
Let's move on to someone known very well to you who is going somewhere unknown. That would be Derrick Rose. Madison Square Garden is becoming Rose Garden. The Bulls traded Derrick Rose to the Knicks in a 5-player deal yesterday. The former MVP has missed nearly 40% of Chicago's games since tearing his ACL back in 2012. You coached Derrick Rose at Memphis before he was taken #1 in the 2008 draft. Was this the right move for him to leave Chicago and go to New York?
He and I talked yesterday. I said, how is it going to be leaving home? And he said, Coach, it's going to be hard. This is my home. Yeah. I wanted to bring a championship here. I gave everything I had, every ounce of my body I gave to the city and to our fans. I love my teammates. But you know what? I'm excited about this next opportunity, next phase. And I said to him, my opinion, it was time to hit the restart button. It's hard to hit that restart button in the same city. And let me say this. Unbelievable teammate. The teammates, and here's why. He'll defer. He'll put himself in your shoes. So if someone on that team has it going, he'll step back. We were playing in the national championship against Kansas. We're down 9. I'm walking off the court with him, and I said, do you want to win this game? Do you want to win this game? He goes, Coach. I said, you shoot the ball. Quit passing. And then we go up, and then we miss some free throws, and they say they didn't call timeout or whatever you want to say, and we lose the game. But I'm going to tell you that if he needs to step up, he will. If he needs to step back, he will. He wants to win. I've seen him cry in high school after an AAU game they lost. That's how bad he wants to win. I want ticket. I already hit Spike Lee. I said,
That's
Spike,
the guy, right?
I need a ticket next to you.
Yep.
And I told Derek, I said, I'd like to get season tickets. Can't afford them. But I said, you better have tickets for me when I come to town. I got you, Coach. I got you. It's good. It's an exciting time.
It is, certainly. What about the Knicks fan, though?
And this one I'll wrestle you on. This one we got to get up and we'll do the wrestling here.
This is your squad.
John Calipari, contrary to what some fools may believe, I love Derrick Rose. I think he's a great kid. I think he's a great person. I think when healthy, he's a great player. Not good, Molly. Great. Derrick Rose is an absolute stud when healthy. He is big time when healthy. I believe if Derrick Rose had never tore his knee up, that the Chicago Bulls might have won a championship. They clearly would have been to the finals one of those years.
Yeah, you're right.
One of those years, without question in my mind. But I can't sit here and let you get away with escaping the reality of the situation. Over the course of 4 regular season games, course of 4 regular seasons, there are 328 games. Derrick Rose has missed 201 of them.
Been hurt.
He missed. I'm getting there. Missed 20 entire 2012.
Stop. Do you think he missed any because he could perform?
Not, absolutely not. I'm not accusing him of that.
Okay.
Please stay with me.
Good.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not going there.
I just need to know where you're going.
I'm going there. You don't need to know. I'll tell you when I'm getting there.
I just don't want to have to climb over there.
You know when you coaching, you wait. You don't show everything in the first half. Relax. Here's the deal. He missed an entire season. The following year, he missed 72 games. The year after that, he missed 31 games. Last year, everybody wanted to stand up and give him a damn standing ovation because he played 66 games and only missed 16 because it was a miracle. We understand that those injuries were legitimate. It is wrong for anybody to ever question the legitimacy of his injury.
And his teammates would have said something.
And Joakim Noah, they love him to death. Jimmy Butler, all the guys spoke to him. They love Derrick Rose. Here's the problem. For somebody who is so quiet, who is relatively passive, introverted, how in God's name could you justify sitting up there and literally looking into the faces of the media and talking about how you worried about your next contract or whether or not you're going to be able to walk straight when your kid graduates from high school and all of this other stuff? You can't do that in the midst of a $90+ million contract, getting paid $20 million a year, getting scheduled to get paid $21.3 million next season. I know Derrick Rose is a good guy, a great guy and a great player, but you can't do something like that, Coach. Let me ask you this question. I'll come to you right now.
I've said some stupid stuff.
Hold on, wait a minute. I'm getting to you. Yes, you have.
Don't get to me. Wait a minute. I'm saying I don't want you to say
I'm going to say it.
Excuse me. I'll say it.
This first say. I keep trying to tell you. I can say what I want here. Here's the deal, Coach. I got a quick question for you. If a player, any player, played for you, and they sat up there and said, well, I'm feeling well, Coach, but I'm worried about how I'm going to walk in 6 months. Would he be playing for you?
He did. His name was Derrick. The same Derrick played for me this year, walks out of a game after he had 27 points and said, my body's breaking down. I'm exhausted. I've never played this much.
Who's this?
And you know what? I sat him down and I said, Derrick, are you...
Derrick Rose?
No. My Derrick.
Okay.
So I said, Derrick, are you crazy? What in the world? These are kids. And you might say to me, well, he's a grown man. He's been through this. All right, he made a mistake.
No.
And let me
I'm saying he's in the middle of a $90+ million contract. You cashing the check.
Okay.
Here's what
I say. He made a mistake. So now wait a minute.
Okay.
He made a mistake. He shouldn't have said it.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, I saw Jerry Reinsdorf, and you know what I said to him? He said, your guy I said, Jerry, I apologize for him because I know Derrick, maybe someone was in his ear. There were people around him saying stuff, and you know what? He just said something. It was dumb to say, but let me say this. If you're the Knicks, can we agree to this point? Mm-hmm. This is a great opportunity for both. Because he's at the end of the contract. So if he wants to do this, he's going to have to get his body right. Let's all hope and pray that he stays healthy, because I think what you're going to see is a guy that will drag New York along with the other guys. Now, you got Carmelo. He will drag those guys.
All right, let me answer that question before we go. I think the New York Knicks made an upgrade. I think that Derrick
Did
Rose,
they hurt themselves in any way?
They did not hurt themselves
And
in
is
any way.
Is it a good opportunity for them to say?
They didn't hurt themselves in any way. But here's where you're not talking to a basketball analyst or a pundit. You're talking to a lifelong New York Knicks fan. Is this going to deliver us a championship? Hell no. We both know that. You need more. You need more.
Well, they got another guy they may try to get now.
I know that, but what I'm saying to you is this.
Molly, we throw that guy in.
Well, let me say this to you.
And if I'm telling you, Derek, with those two guys,
no question.
will be
with Kevin Durant and Melo, absolutely. But let me say.
Or Dwight.
I'll talk about Dwight later. Here's the point, real quick. We're not having this conversation if this is years ago before Derrick Rose's injury, I think the New York Knicks got a shot at the title with that Derrick Rose. He's not that guy. Now, can he be that guy again? I don't know. That's a health issue. But that is my problem with this, because he's going into the last
something he said?
No. He's going into the last year of his contract. It's a contract year. I think that's a plus. My issue is, come on, coach. You're the coach, not me. There are guys, coach, that you know want it bad.
Something stupid.
Forget it.
Let it alone. Don't ever go back to that.
Fine.
This is basketball. This is business.
Hold it. I never brought it up. I only brought it up because you're sitting across from me. Okay, that's number one. Number two, and more importantly, I'm simply saying, as a coach, you know good and well, you want rough riders. You want guys that you know. What LeBron, with his speech yesterday, how he was talking about Amon Shumpert and J.R. and others who will walk through a wall to try and win. Is Derrick Rose that guy in your mind?
Yes, he is.
Okay, I'm good.
Yes, he is.
Then I'm good.
Let me say this.
I'm good.
He's not like 32 years old. This is
28.
Young guy.
He's 28, coach.
Yeah.
He's not 18. He's 28.
Only my guys are like 22. You know, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist is 22 years old. Only my guys are that young.
Okay.
He is 28. And let me say this. For both the Knicks and Derrick Rose, they needed each other.
I got it.
They need each other.
No dispute.
And let me say this. Get one more guy and then make a little
I agree with that.
And listen, you got a 3-year, 4-year run of seeing if we can do it.
Of the draft, the 76ers have the #1 pick in tonight's NBA draft on ESPN, and they reportedly have already made their decision. Philadelphia has told Ben Simmons they will select him with the top pick, as first reported by Cleveland.com and confirmed by ESPN. And now we need to discuss this. Coach Cal, Stephen A., Seth Greenberg in the house. Now it's about to really get live. Fellas.
Get him in a trap.
Come on now.
Stephen A. said he needed help.
He needed help. He needed help. I'm here for you, bro. I'm here for you. It's all love. It's all love. What's up, Coach? What's going on, man? Let's go.
He got you off vacation?
You know what? We go back 20 years.
Are you allowed to have vacation? I thought they'd shut down the network.
You know what? I definitely thought about that sometimes myself. But, you know, you guys look out for me. I'm beating him up now. You here to help him.
Yeah.
You know, you guys, I beat you up during the college basketball season for a couple of weekends. You know. But
all debatable. Can we get
it's all a lie. I'm only joking. Trust me, I'm only joking.
In honor of Skip, I'm not wearing a tie.
Oh, look at you.
That's right. That's right.
Coach, should Simmons be the #1 pick in the draft?
I believe so. Brandon is a really good player and going to be a good pro. You know, size and skill set, and he's the thing with he's 6'10", he's 240, really fast, really athletic, and LeBron-ish skills like passing and catching, and you know, he's got a ways to go. His shooting is more about inconsistency than anything mechanically wrong. So I would say if that's who they're taking and that's who they want, pretty good.
I don't think you can go wrong. I'm a Brandon Ingram guy. I look at him, he's Inspector Gadget with a jump shot. I mean, you're talking about 6'9". He's 18 years old. You can relate to that because you've had a bunch of guys like that. He's got a 9-1 reach, and he can make shots. The thing about the NBA to me is it's a make and miss league, and he has the ability to make shots. Now, everyone talks about Simmons. His shot's going to improve. I think he's more Magic-esque than LeBron-esque in terms of his vision. He's a world-class passer, but he never commits to making a shot. You guys played against him. Like, he seems like he has 1 foot in and 1 foot out when he shoots the ball.
Let me tell you, we played against him.
The one time he crushed
his
you.
mother grabbed me in the hotel last night, put her arm around me, and I'm like, I'm Ben's mom, and I just want to tell you, you brought great joy to my life. Really? Why? We spanked you so bad down at LSU. It brought great joy. And she said, we spanked you that game. I didn't want to tell her, yeah, we kind of spanked you the last game, but we played against him twice, and I can tell you, you worry about how are you going to guard this guy.
Sure.
And in that league, when you have to do that with a player, he's the guy. If you're saying we can just guard this guy and he'll make some shots, but it's a different deal. And that's why I come back to Jamal Murray. And everybody, he's just saying it because he's my guy. And you know what?
That's part of the reason.
Okay, it is.
Yes.
But he is the safest because he's 6'5". He scores the ball with anybody. And I've been wrong before. What year?
Once or twice? I don't know.
I think it was
Stephen A. Has he ever been wrong with it?
How about this? 20 years. I can't count the amount of times he's been wrong. But I will ask you this question, because I'm a Jamal Murray fan. And I think he's got big-time skills, and I think he's going to be big-time at the next level. Are you sitting here, though, and acting like he should be the #1 overall pick? You're not doing that, are you?
I said it all along, but obviously he's not going to be, so I won't.
You hold on, stop. Forget what he's going to be.
I would
You're trying to tell me Jamal Murray should be the #1 overall pick.
When I look at this and I see Steph Curry and I see where the game's going, when I see the small ball and he's 6'5" with 17 shoes and hands that are this big, ambidextrous, I'd walk into practice, he'd be shooting threes left-handed. What are you doing? Coach, you don't really even know all my game. He played point for the Canadian national team. He played both point and off guard for us. I wanted him to catch and shoot and run off screen.
Well, you know what?
You're getting him worked up.
I know. I see the face happening.
Coach. I got to say this to him. I'm only being facetious because we're talking about a Hall of Fame caliber coach here. I would almost think you should be fired for making that statement. And let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. For first take.
I want to be fired from first take.
No, you don't. You know you're going to miss me. Here's the deal, Coach. If he that damn good, how many people have you held back? I mean, come on, Coach. If he's that good, then how come we didn't see that?
The most points ever scored by a player I've coached. The most efficient player that I've
He's big time. He's big time.
So
I know that.
People want to go.
But I'm saying,
all these guys I've coached, he scored more than all of them.
Yeah, but the NBA draft.
And he's going to go in the NBA and be the leading.
It's not where a guy is. It's where a guy's going.
All right.
Who's got the most upside? Is it Simmons or is it Ingram?
Well, let me go there.
Those are the two guys.
Let me go there.
How about upside?
If you're thinking Brandon Ingram, even though the games is not necessarily reminiscent, we think Kevin Durant because of frame, his shooting ability. He did shoot 41% from three-point range. We get all of that. Averaging 17.3 points per game for Mike Krzyzewski's squad. Fair enough. Here's the flip side. Coach Greenberg. I'm thinking of it along the lines of Ben Simmons. I actually have to agree with this man here for a second. Ben Simmons is such a complete package to me. I got two questions about Ben Simmons. These are the only two reasons I wouldn't take him #1. And I'm saying I would take him #1. But these are the two reasons against him being the #1 pick. A, if I'm questioning your motor, your consistent motor, and you only playing 35 games a year, how the hell can I trust you to play 82? That's a problem.
On a bad team.
That's right. That's #1. #2, the market that is Philadelphia concerns me. Because if I got a question about your motor, if there's one city, and you know this when you were there with the Larry Brown era with Allen Iverson. Remember, before you took the job in Memphis, that's where you were with me every day because I was the beat writer there, Coach. I was the beat writer.
Isn't that the place where they threw snowballs at Santa Claus?
Yes.
Yes.
They booed Santa Claus, threw snowballs at them. They were cheering when Michael Irvin was on the turf, damn near paralyzed, all of that stuff. But Philadelphia is a great sports town, and I'm going to defend them. In the end, here's the deal.
That was for Bruiser Flint. That's why
they love heckling you. I was there at McGonigal Hall when Temple beat you. You were ranked 5th in the nation at UMass. But here's the deal. When you look at it and you say, if I got questions about your motor, and I combine that with Philly. Ooh, and the last #1 pick was AI, whose motor was never questioned. That's a problem, Coach. That's the only thing that I would say against Ben Simmons.
Let me throw this.
Everything else I love about his game.
Let me throw this on top of that, too. You know where the coaches from the 76ers are from.
Okay.
They coached in Australia.
Coached that.
Yeah, he coached in Australia. What I'm saying to you is they know this kid better than we know this kid. They know him from...
But personality's got to be a fact. Like, here's my thing about Ben Simmons. Look, his potential's unlimited.
No question.
His vision is ridiculous. His size, his versality, all those things.
Pass and ability.
No doubt about it. But
off the charts.
Here's my question. DNA and personality. Like, to me, you've got to have a certain personality to be successful. Like, he's Magic Johnson without the personality. He went to LSU to be the face of a program. They were ill-equipped to have a player like that. You've got to go through it like you do it each and every year to understand to take some pressure off a kid like that. The microscope is on him. How is he going to deal with
let's say
the
this.
pressure
And he's still
and
the number one pick. He's still the number one pick, and you're saying this, that, and the other. That's how good this kid is.
He won 3 state championships as a high school player.
Can I say this to you, too? If they wanted to take Brandon Ingram or Jamal, Philadelphia, take who you want. Don't worry about your position. And being the number one pick, yeah, there's a little added stuff to it. But the reality of it is, who does your team need? Who's the best player that you feel is out there? And if they thought it was Brandon, they should take Brandon. If they thought it was Jamal, they should take Jamal. And not worry about, well, we can't pass on this guy. I'm telling you, I think he's going to be fine. And I think Philadelphia.
I think so as well.
I think Philadelphia. I think both of them are going to be fine. I think Jamal's going to be fine. I think Jamal will be the leading scoring rookie. And then you can have me back on and
depends on where he lands.
Okay.
The 2016 NBA Draft.
With the first pick, the Philadelphia 76ers select.
Live from the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. Thursday on ESPN and on ESPN Radio.
Bring up the one. I'm going to bring it up when you bring it.
Welcome back into First Take. We now welcome in one of Coach Calipari's best players here, Karl Anthony Towns. Congratulations to you. You can go. 1 second. Unanimous Rookie of the Year, the first from Kentucky, and last year's number 1 pick. Go, go, go.
This hurts me to say
What?
because this man is here. I actually thought he should have been the number 2 pick instead of number 1.
I know, we heard you.
Everybody, he heard me here. I had to apologize to his mama and his daddy. That saw me at NBA All-Star Weekend. You know, I had to own up to. I didn't know. I didn't know. It's Cal's fault. It's Cal's fault. I didn't know. You know, I had his coaches. Everybody calling me in Jersey. They were like, man, you don't know. I said, I haven't seen him. What are y'all talking about? I haven't seen him do this at Kentucky. They said, Cal holding him back. But I had to take all the heat. Congratulations, big boy. All the best to you. Well deserved. Well deserved.
Much love.
That's what I wanted to say.
That is funny. You are hysterical.
Karl, what was it like
though.
playing for him?
Him?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
He held you back.
We don't got enough time right now for all this, but no, he helped me a lot. I mean, he helped me a lot. I had to improve a lot of parts of my game. You know, I had to be a little sharper. You know, I was more of a dull 2 coming in. I had a lot of different things I could do, but not sharp in every edge. I went there and I got sharper at every edge. A lot of people don't realize I didn't shoot a lot.
Okay.
But practices, I put a lot of work in myself, working on my jump shot, working on things. I may not have done them in the games, but every single day I stepped in the gym, I was doing them.
Now, this is a guy that's supposed to have had bad hips in the past, at least. Okay?
Oh, no, yeah.
But you see him on the sideline, jumping around, screaming, pumping. What is it like for y'all to sit up there, to stand out there on the court playing and hearing this guy yelling at y'all all the time?
I mean, think about this. You come out the game, you've scored maybe 12 straight points for your team.
Right.
You're thinking you feel on top. Coach is giving you high fives. Teammates, great job, great job. Then comes this man with some suave hair, always gelled up, never not gelled up.
Right.
Comes to you, and he's doing all these dance moves, and you're like, I don't know if he's mad at me or he's happy. You know, even when he's happy, he's screaming at you in excitement.
That's right.
Let me say this. I was really hard. I was hard on this guy. Tell him the meeting we had in my house.
Oh, yeah. Okay, this is another thing. So he comes in and he says, hey, I want you guys to understand something. I want all of you guys to achieve your dreams and aspirations, but I want to have a vote. Who do you guys think I'm the hardest on? I swear, they didn't even, it said vote. We didn't even listen. You know, you're supposed to say Karl, Karl, Karl. They all turned around at one time and pointed right at me. And I'm sitting there in the back looking like a gangster.
Smiling.
You just smile high, you know.
But I told him, I said, for this team, I had to platoon that year. For this team to make it, I got to be hard on you because you're going to be the number 1 pick. And he says, you think so? I said, if you'll get next to that basket, your other stuff is there. And he did it. He did it. And he worked. He accepted it. He gave up minutes. You know, the reason you said that, he only played 21 minutes a game. He only averaged 10 points a game.
So you believed before he did.
When I saw him in the Final Four, I blamed Chad.
Believe me, my confidence is always through the roof. So if anyone believes myself, I believe myself.
He thought he could be number 1 before you? Okay.
I thought I could be in the NBA at a young age because that's a New York, New Jersey, that's an attitude. You got that confidence, that swagger. So,
got to ask both of y'all about this because so much noise is being made about one and dones. Coming in college, staying 1 year, then obviously you're going pro from there. What are y'all thoughts about that?
I mean, for me, I think if you're ready, if you're physically ready with the talent ready to come into this league, this is a grown man's league, just like I said in the commercial.
Yeah, but you also got a great background. You got a great foundation with him. You got a great foundation with your family.
Absolutely.
Your parents are wonderful, the whole bit. A lot of cats come into this league, and that money is there, but you may not necessarily know how to handle all the things that come along.
Exactly. I mean, this is something. It takes a certain sense of maturity to say I'm ready after 1 year. And listen. Like you say, when you declare your name and you accept to be in part of the NBA draft and you declare your name in there, you have decided that I am ready for this step in my life. No one's telling you have to be ready. If I wanted to come back, I could come back. But I decided with me and my family that I'm ready to take the next step and I have the maturity to do it.
And I don't want to hear about the academics. We've had that 3.0. This kid was a 4.0 student. I don't want to hear. Brandon Knight, I can go on and on. We've had 14 graduate, 3 graduated in 3 years. It isn't about that. One, if these kids wanted to leave out of high school, they should be able to. But it shouldn't be a baseball rule. They should all, if they go to college, leave after a year, second year, third. You leave when you want. My job is to help them get jobs. My job is to prepare them with life skills. I'll give you real quick, DeJuan Wagner, one of my first.
Out of Jersey.
Yeah. DeJuan Wagner comes in and says, what should I do after 1 year? I tore up his scholarship. You're in the top 3, 4 in the draft. John told me that, look, I'm in Cleveland at the time. I'm taking him. John Lucas. I'm taking him. So I said, you got to go. He goes to the league. He has an operation on his intestines that basically changed the direction of his life. But he got that money. He saved that money. He's doing well. His partner, Arthur Barclay's doing well, a state assemblyman right now. If he had come back to school and had that operation, he may never have gone in the NBA. So you got to think in those terms for these kids.
So are you saying that you have no problem with the one and done rule, or are you saying it should be completely eradicated and you shouldn't even have to come to college for a year before going pro?
The way the rule is right now, okay, I'm fine with it. But I don't agree with the baseball rule. If you want them to go out of high school, let them go. That's between the Players Association and the NBA. I'm fine with that. The ones that don't go come and after 1 year, what if a kid says, I'm coming back, and you have a baseball rule, and he has to stay 3 years or 2 years, and he grows 7 inches that summer, and you're making him stay in school for what reason? Let him go after a year. If he wants to go after 1 year, 2 years, let him go. Right now, the way the rule is, I think that the kids, with the new combine that the NBA has put together with the Coaches Association, I think they have every opportunity now to go to college. My guys have lifetime scholarships. He can come back whenever he wants. Dakari Johnson was on campus 2 weeks ago with books under his arms. He's coming back. All these kids, they can come back to school whenever they want. This kid here, he can be
special. He's special, no question about it. Would you have gone to Kentucky if there wasn't a rule in place that mandated you had to go to school for 1 year, you could go straight from high school to the pros?
I mean, I don't know if I was physically ready. I thought that I had the skills, I had the confidence, I had everything I felt that I needed. I thought I proved myself a little bit when I was with him with the Dominican senior national team, that I could withstand the punishment with NBA players. But if it wasn't right for me, I was going to go to Kentucky. If I felt that the way I felt coming out of my senior year, I think I'm glad I went to Kentucky. And the reason why is because I came in the league much sharper than if I would have came out of high school and been more of a project. And I think that's why I was so happy I went to Kentucky, because when I came out of Kentucky, I felt like I could immediately make an impact instead of having a year or two to learn the league and learn the ropes.
I'll also ask you this question. I see a guy in Coach Mike Krzyzewski who I have profound respect for. Anybody that knows anything about basketball, you have to respect
and I do too,
and what he's accomplished. But I'm also looking at a guy that I have always been on the record about this. I think it's inherently unfair that he coaches Team USA all the time because I think that puts him at a decisive advantage over most programs to go out there and get marquee players. But that hasn't been the case when it comes against him, okay? Because he's getting guys like you. So what is it about him?
Let me stop.
Go ahead.
I got to say this.
Go ahead.
First of all, the time that Mike Krzyzewski spends with USA Basketball, the time that he spends, he deserves any advantage that he has.
I agree with it.
So he deserves it. Now,
it's not about him. I'm just talking about the principle, not about Coach K, but just about the
principle. Now, I
principle.
coached the Dominican team.
Okay.
He will tell you, did I do that for you?
No.
I didn't even know who he was.
He didn't have
and
no
they
idea
came
who I
out.
was.
He came to a practice as like a 9th grader and sat in the seats. And they introduced me to him, and I went, "Hey, kid, how are you?"
Yeah.
And I didn't know who he was. But then when I saw him, I said, "You need him in this program to build a program." Then he played for us, and his uncle Del Harris, took care of him, took him under his wing, and really began that process.
Yeah.
And then, from the experience, he wanted to play for me because he got to be around me and said,
"Yeah, but Coach, wait a minute. I get that, and I respect that. And I'm not casting any aspersions on Mike Krzyzewski. It's not his fault. I would do it, too, if I could be him.
Yeah.
I'm simply saying I don't believe one coach should be coaching Olympic after Olympic after Olympic. There should be a potpourri of coaches coming through that system. So just like you got different players sometimes,
Can I tell you why
have
they
different
did
coaches.
what they did, and they're
Sure.
doing it with some lower levels? They needed consistency.
Stability.
Yeah,
That's
they
the
needed
biggest
it.
thing.
So what you're saying, in fairness, okay, you're probably right. But now it comes down to, is it more important to be fair here, or are we trying to win gold medals?
Excuse me, you're trying to win gold medals. You got the best players in the world. And oh my God, John Calipari or Jim Boeheim or Roy Williams or somebody coaching LeBron James and Kobe and Melo and Kevin Durant. You need the same coach in order to win gold? Is that what y'all trying to say?
They lost years ago.
That was years ago.
Yeah.
That was years
But
ago.
they still had great players. LeBron was on the bench, and
He was young.
ESPN's Brian Windhorst and Dave McMenamin have reported that 11-year-old LeBron James Jr. already has scholarship offers from Kentucky and Duke. Coach Cal, why the early offer to LeBron's son?
I offered Bronny probably when he was 2 years old.
Why?
And because they're friends, they're family. I mean, I think I offered Rip Hamilton's son. Kerry Kittles is sending me his son's pictures across and over. And most of those kids, I'm not coaching by that time. And if I am, they better be one and done because it'll be like year to year. So, but I do that. Look, I'm taking my own son. I have kids on my team from players, from family, friends. I'll do that. I have no problem with that. So,
well, I'm not going to get on you about it because obviously it seems to be a family thing, a connection thing. You get along. My issue is not necessarily with you. My issue is with kids being targeted at an early age like that.
Tell me why we can't do it at Kentucky.
I'm not saying you can't.
Tell me why we cannot.
What do you mean? I don't understand.
I have to recruit 5, 6 new guys every year. I don't.
So they had to be 11 years old?
I'm not recruiting Bronny.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
He's got a scholarship.
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about those who do that.
I don't think there are coaches that do that. We are different. In other words, there's some schools that'll say, we have no scholarships for next year, or we're good for the next 2 years. I can't say that. We got to stay on that next class until we sign those 4 or 5 guys. And we may touch a little bit of the next class, and I may take a glance at some young kids. We don't have time. Our whole thing in the way we do this, well, so-and-so's offered 30 scholarships to sophomores. Well, first of all, you're only going to be able to take 1 or 2 or 3 if you're normal school, and you've offered 30. The second thing is, we don't know who's going to bounce out of this and grow and get better, and that's the guy we take. So it's almost better for the kids if it's like we take a little longer.
I guess what I'm saying is, if a kid is 11 years old and John Calipari, one of the elite coaches in the history of basketball, who is incredibly renowned, well known, that brings an 11-year-old kid into the spotlight.
Right, let me just say this. Well, I don't know how it got in the spotlight, but what happens when my friends have sons and they're born, I sign a scholarship paper and I send it to them. and this is for your son, and they get that. And the second thing is, if Bronny asked his dad about me, I hope he would say he's family. That guy's family. We're good. So, look, like I've said, a long run for me, you know, at my age, I'm 42, right? A little bit older.
I know you are. Well, go ahead. I'm letting you slide. I'm letting you slide on that. All right. You look young enough. It's all right. It's okay.
Steph never looks so good.
Stephen
is actually feeling a little nervous right now.
Yeah, but this thing here for me, again, you know, if I get a chance to bring joy to Kerry Kittle's son, I'm watching him do ball handling stuff, send him a scholarship. And you know what? You and I know if the players that know me, their sons are good enough, where do they want them to go and play?
I understand.
So I don't have to do that.
Well, let me be very clear. I'm not talking about John Calipari literally. I understand where you're coming from. If you've cultivated relationships and you have these friendships to the point where guys are like family, and I know you're telling the truth because I know how a lot of these players feel about you, and that's what you do, that's not where I'm going. I'm speaking against the coach. I understand.
There's no one recruiting 11.
I understand that. I'm speaking against a coach who would have no relationship with a kid, but spots an 11 or a 12-year-old and is trying to get the. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
because that's the way it comes across. When it gets out in the media, that's the way it comes across. And that's what I'm speaking against.
There's no. Well, Duke has a relationship with LeBron. Played on Team USA.
Right.
So I would imagine that's why, or especially if they heard I had done it, maybe they had then done it. But I don't. Look, if there's a coach coaching or looking at ninth graders, that would even surprise me. Now, they may watch them play in an AAU event, but when they become a sophomore, you then start saying, wait a minute, maybe we see somebody. And there's been a couple occasions where I saw a ninth grader that was going to be a 10th grader, and I said, I don't even care. That kid's going to be good enough, even if he only gets a little bit better. And there have been a couple of those that I've said, hey, man, we probably need to offer. My staff gets mad if I offer young guys, and the reason is you haven't offered the guys we're trying to get in this class yet, but you're offering some juniors. Don't do that. Stay away from it. If a kid really
and do you listen to your assistant coaches? Because I don't think you
don't listen to anybody, and I do. I do more than you do. But I would tell you that they're usually right, and if a kid really wants Kentucky, like if you want to go to the first school that writes you, and that's why you'd pick a school, or you want to go to a school that's that calls you the most. You know what I tell a kid? I'm in my mid-50s. How old are you? 17. What are we going to talk about 4 days a week? We're going to talk about your girlfriend. What are we going to talk about?
With you, I'm sure you'll figure out something.
No. I'm not on the phone like that.
I'm not talking about if they came to your program. That's what I'm saying.
Well, you'll
have them in your office lecturing them a lot.
Not lecturing, but I do, and I stay social media-wise. I stay with them that way so they all can, you know, and I do. The social media cannot, Molly, get in the way of individual meetings or you lose them. The individual meeting, they got to know that you're touching them, that you let them know you love them, that I'm here for you, and I don't agree with what you're doing, and here's why, and it's going to change. And I'm not going to ever do that on the internet, but I do use social media.
MSG, it's becoming the Rose Garden. The Bulls traded Derrick Rose to the Knicks in a 5-player deal yesterday. The former MVP has missed nearly 40% of Chicago's games since tearing his ACL back in 2012. Welcome back into First Take. Will Kane now in the house. So I want to start with you, my friend. Good morning.
What's up, man? How you doing?
Good. A lot of people looking forward to this, to you putting me in my place.
I doubt that.
Oh, no, they are.
I doubt that. I do what I do. Let's go. Let's go.
Let's start with this. Is this the perfect move for the Knicks?
It's exactly perfect, Molly. Stephen A., this is a great move. Now, granted, it's a Hail Mary. But it's the kind of Hail Mary that Phil Jackson and the Knicks need to make. This is how you go from being a franchise with virtually no future to one with somewhat brighter prospects. Now, I want to say this. It's made for all the right reasons. It's the right decision, but that doesn't mean it's going to work out. We can't do this where we look back on it a year or two from now and go, well, you were wrong about Derrick Rose. I'm right today, and I'll be right 3 years from now, no matter what happens on the court. Here's why. I understand very well. Derrick Rose has a very checkered injury history. He's on the way back up. He shot poorly the first half, 35%, but after March, I think it was something like back up to 50%, where he was throughout his career before the injuries tallied up. So it could work out on the court. I understand what is Derrick Rose? I think he has a 27% usage rate on team plays, which is the highest of Carmelo's any teammate he's ever had. So I'm worried about what it looks like on the court. But that doesn't mean this is going to be a bad decision. This is still a perfect decision. And here's why. You have to look at the risk reward here. The risk is this. You signed up for Derrick Rose for 1 year. 1 year. $21 million. 1 year. If it doesn't work out, if all my initial hunches about the on the court are wrong, big deal. A year from now, you've cleared $14 million plus in cap space. You already have $30 million. Your real risk is Robin Lopez. Career, what? Last year, 17 PER. Basically, Andrew Bogut. Basically, maybe Marcus Camby. That's your risk. Robin Lopez. So worst case scenario, a year from now, you've increased your cap space. You can go get somebody that did work out. On the other hand, on the reward side, maybe, just maybe, you get the guy that was one-time MVP, the youngest MVP in league history. Clear risk-reward, brilliant move by Phil Jackson.
First of all, here's what I don't like about people like you.
Oh.
People like you, what I mean by people like you are people who are not Knicks fans because you don't feel our pain. You don't feel our suffering. You have no sensitivity whatsoever to it. Are you from Texas?
That's right.
Yeah, see, that's the problem right there. That's one of the problems right there.
I live in New York now.
I don't care. You don't care. That's like Skip talking about he lived in Oklahoma City. Take your behind back to Oklahoma City. I don't care about that. It doesn't count. If you ain't from New York City, then you don't absorb and feel the pain that we have been enduring. So you're sitting up here giving me a whole bunch of numbers, PER numbers, acting like some analytics dude. That ain't what matters here. Let me tell you something, Will Kane. Here's the deal. Derrick Rose can play. Derrick Rose is no scrub. Derrick Rose, when healthy, is an all-star and probably better. But over a 4-year period in an NBA season, there's 321 games, 82 times 4. Derrick Rose has missed 201 of them. 201. Did he play 66 games last year? Sure he did. Did he only miss 16 games last year? Sure he did. But in the throes of playing those 66 games, periodically at one time or another, he alluded to his health. He alluded to making sure that he would be able to walk straight for his kids' graduation a decade from now. He talked about future contracts and all of this other stuff. That dog, that Rough Rider in him is a question mark. Now, when we look at the Knicks, we've got Melo, who clearly has it in him. We've got Porzingis, who clearly seems to have it in him. But when you say great move by Phil Jackson, this is why you annoyed me. Because you're letting Phil off the hook. Let me say for the record to everybody out there, when it comes to Phil Jackson, you are getting paid $60 million to be the president of basketball operations for the New York Knicks. No one that I know of that's a president of basketball operations in the NBA is getting more than 10. This man is getting about 6 times more than the average person at his position. Kevin Durant is out there. I want a marquee name. I am in no way disagreeing with you, Will, when you say it is an upgrade. I am in no way disagreeing with you, Will, when you say it's not a bad move.
Great, just to be clear. Great.
I know that. What my problem with you is, of course, it's great from the standpoint he's making $21.3 million. He's entering the last year of his contract. He's going to be inspired to go out there and perform, etc., etc. What I'm saying is, if you're Phil Jackson, the 11-time champion that is Phil Jackson, with the cachet that's so significant that James Dolan went out there and brought you on board, so you could take the pressure off of him because people were scheduled to boycott outside of Madison Square Garden before Indiana Pacers game that March. You brought Phil Jackson in there to take the heat off of you, and you brought Phil Jackson there because he was supposed to have the cachet to get marquee names. I want my marquee name.
I have won this debate, and you don't even know it yet. You don't even know the traps you walked into.
Okay.
You're cornered. I'm going to unveil it for you right now.
Please.
Now,
I don't like laughing on first take. Please don't make me laugh.
Cornered, everybody.
Please don't make me laugh.
If you laugh, it's going to be a pain in about 30 seconds.
Go ahead.
Let me lay this out for you.
Yes,
First of all, if I might suggest, you might be a little too emotional. You might be a little too tied to the Knicks. You said maybe I don't understand because I can't feel your pain. I think the flip side of that coin is you're feeling too much. You're not thinking. You can't even see the handwriting on the wall that Phil Jackson, despite whatever his track record is, has made a brilliant move here. I think your opinion was made up before this day ever started or yesterday started. I think you thought Phil Jackson was bad and could do no right before the trade to for Derrick Rose.
If you're thinking about what I'm thinking before I articulate my thoughts,
I was
that's
patient.
a losing proposition altogether, bro.
Rebuttal.
Go ahead.
The reason that he was able to trade for Derrick Rose, for Robin Lopez and a bag of peanuts, is because he missed all those games. You're right. Over 4 years, he's missed an enormous amount of games, and that's why the price was Robin Lopez, Jose Calderon, and Grant. That's why the price was so great. So you can't accept one and discount the other. He came on the cheap because of those injuries. You look to the future. Now that I've impugned your emotion,
you haven't.
I want to defer to you. Mm-hmm. But this is also where you lost the argument. Mm-hmm. You want marquee names? I think Derrick Rose helps. Now, you know better than I. You know these guys. But one of the first things I look up when I see somebody's traded, who are their friends? Who do they like? Guys want to play together. He's there for 1 year. Then he's a free agent. They got $30 million in cap room. Who is he friends with? The first names that came up to me, now granted it was 3 or 4 years ago, Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook. The upside on Derrick Rose is to do exactly what Stephen A. Smith wants the Knicks to do, to bring a Kevin Durant or a Russell Westbrook to the Knicks. It's not either or, Stephen A. It's both.
First of all, Russell Westbrook and Derrick Rose would not play on the same team. If you know anything about basketball, their talent level, they're just
accumulate talent. Accumulate talent.
It's not going to happen. You're dreaming. That's number one. Number two, certainly Derrick Rose got along with a few players. Kevin Durant is one of them. If you know anything about Derrick Rose is an incredibly nice guy. It's hard for anybody to dislike him. I can assure you there's almost no one in the NBA who dislikes him. So that ain't breaking any news there right there. Number three, anybody you accumulate that has talent is going to be something that raises an eyebrow because the New York Knicks have been devoid of much of it for many, many years now. So when you look at it from that perspective, if that's the reason that Phil Jackson acquired a Derrick Rose, then the best argument that you could make, Will, on behalf of Phil Jackson, is that it's not finished yet. Let's see what he does in free agency. That's the best you can do. Because what I'm saying to you is this. No, that's the best you can do. Because what I'm saying to you is Phil Jackson has to be held accountable because of this reason. You are a marquee name. You were brought to the Mecca to attract marquee names. Anybody out there, I can give you guys who are starving for an opportunity to get their first prime executive position who can do the job that Phil Jackson did. If you have a top 4 pick in the draft, they could have drafted Porzingis. If Carmelo Anthony was your free agent, you could have given him $122 million. You could go out there and make a trade for Derrick Rose when you got the Chicago Bulls who are looking to give him away for a bag of chips because of how injury prone he has been, because of how disappointing the last few years have been in Chicago, and how much they've been salivating for a change. And so when you look at it from that perspective, one must ask Phil Jackson, again, it's not that it's a finite situation where the die has been cast and this is what it is. I am simply saying, I'm looking at Phil Jackson, not saying that he hasn't done anything. I'm saying to you, Phil, what is your number one job description? If Phil Jackson doesn't bring a marquee name, a superstar to New York, then he is doing a job. I can give you at least 7 names off the top of my head,
but that's
who should be in New York with his title. That's my point.
And that's a wonderful point. If it was a rebuttal to a position I held today, which is that Phil Jackson is the best GM in the NBA, or that he's a genius, none of which I argued. I simply argued, great move.
Yeah,
perfect move, because he did what you want. That's just why I win the debate.
No.
He got a one-time MVP,
that's not true,
potential all-star,
that's not
cleared cap
Will, that's
space,
not true.
and made himself a bigger lure for free agents.
Will, they had cap money last year.
Yep, but
the
Steve,
point that I'm trying to make is,
simple question.
Are you going to go out there and get a marquee name.
Do you think, simple question, today versus 2 days ago,
they're better?
With or without Derrick Rose? Not better, more likely or less likely to get Kevin Durant or some other marquee free agent?
I don't know the answer.
No,
I do not.
The answer is yes.
No, I do not.
The answer is yes.
Will, trust me. You don't know that the answer
well,
is yes.
I defer to
because
you.
if I don't know the answer, just you damn sure don't know the answer, Jeff.
No.
I am telling you,
I defer to what you hear.
Know.
I defer to what you know.
All I'm saying to you is this. We don't know, but in the end, where I take exception to anybody who wants to praise Phil Jackson for this move, I am simply making the case. Don't y'all gloss over of what his real job description is. Don't let that man do this. Phil Jackson has to go out there and get a superstar caliber box office talent. Otherwise, he is doing the same job that anybody else could have done, and he's getting paid 6 times more. That is my point.
I just feel like when he does, you might be making the same arguments then.
I promise you I won't.
This was a great move.
I promise you that if Phil Jackson gets Kevin Durant, I will come on national television. I will apologize. I will have a ball. I will praise Phil Jackson to the high heavens. He gets me Kevin Durant. Absolutely.
Scupper inside ESPN.com here on the latest edition of Hockey Today, the podcast. Craig Custance and I chat draft, expansion, all things NHL. We hear from Shea Weber and Connor McDavid. You can find it under the Listen tab on your ESPN app.
Still hasn't hit me what actually happened. And for some crazy reason, I believe like I'm going to wake up and it's going to be like game 4 all over again. I'm like, we down 2-1 still. Like, I swear, I keep feeling that because it's so surreal. Thank you for all the LeBron wishes and coming home wishes and all that, but I'm nothing without this group behind me, man. I'm nothing without the coaching staff. I'm nothing without the city. You guys are unbelievable. I love all of y'all. And we get ready for next year.
He did it, and he had a 16-minute speech to his fans, thanking each and every one of his teammates. Will, I want to start with you. Did you like, love, or hate LeBron's speech?
Well, I loved parts of it. I hated parts of it. There were parts that were wonderful. There were parts that I really wish LeBron wouldn't have indulged. I loved, first of all, his sharing of the glory. I loved how he went down the line one by one, from the guys at the very, very end of the bench who never saw the floor to Kyrie, and talked and told stories about every single one of them and what they brought to the team. I loved that. I loved that about LeBron, and it felt authentic. It was authentically magnanimous, authentically sharing. He wasn't doing it just to look like the good guy. I think he felt it, and he was sharing this moment with everyone, as he should. There were parts that I hated, too, and now we're going to talk about those. But let me say something. I don't want to be shoved into the LeBron hater chair, because that's not who I am. I have for months been a LeBron defender as the lemmings jumped all over the Steph Curry fad. Steph Curry's great. He was never the best player in the NBA. LeBron has and will be the best player in the NBA for many, many years. So I'm not a LeBron hater, but I'm also not a hero worshiper. I don't indulge in that. Nobody's perfect, and I'm not going to start today pretending like because you're the greatest basketball player in the world, you're a perfect human being who's absolutely above criticism. In fact, I think it's a mark of respect to tell people the truth. And here's the truth. When you curse and cuss on a public stage in front of thousands of people and a television audience watching, you do one thing, and you simply cheapen yourself. And honestly, I think higher of LeBron than that. He's the king for a reason. He basically speaks for basketball. He is the face of the NBA. He's bigger than that. He's the face of basketball across the world. He can gloat, he can celebrate, he can share, but there's no need to drop, I think it was 13 total words from the MFer to the S's and everything in between. And there's just no need. Just like yesterday, Molly, we had a big debate about whether or not he needs to get his grammar straight in his Instagram post. Just do things that don't cheapen you. You have cared about your image from every step of the way. You can be authentic and still put your best foot forward. There's no need to do this, LeBron. And I didn't like that part.
Oh, boy.
I'm also, I want to let you wind up. I see you winding up. Also, I'm not a nanny who wants to control everybody's grammar and words. You catch me, I'm going to be there with you running blue. Sound like an 80-year-old man running blue, but not on the stage. Not in your moment.
Lesson number one, Will. I'm going to pray for you, brother. Let me say this. Lesson number one, on First Take especially, we don't give a damn whether we like it or not. We don't care if people try to label us as haters or whatever the case may be. It don't matter.
Hold on. It's quick. I don't care if people like me. I don't care if people dislike me. I just like them to dislike me for the right reasons.
Okay, that's fair. I just want to make sure that because I want you to understand that anybody that sits in one of these chairs, you're going to get hated. You're going to get hated on. And if you can't, you got to have a tough skin. I just want to say it. But you said that you
don't
got
got to worry about me.
Okay.
You don't got to worry about
All right, now let's get back to it. I loved LeBron's speech from start to finish. It didn't bother me at all that it was profanity laced. It didn't bother me at all that he was grammatically incorrect with the Instagram. It didn't bother me at all that virtual choir boys who will remain nameless don't see things the way that he saw things. Because see, for people who don't know you, first of all, you're a highly, highly intelligent and accomplished man.
Appreciate it.
I got a lot of respect for you.
Thanks.
As a person. You've accomplished a lot of great, great things that a lot of us could only wish to accomplish. You deserve credit for that.
Thank you.
The flip side to it, however, is that you were in the political sphere for a little while.
Oh, you think I got politically correct?
It's not that you got politically correct. It's that you believe in it.
Oh.
And see, what I'm saying to you is...
This is an example of not liking me for the right reasons.
No.
You don't know me yet.
No. I said you believe in it. I didn't say you exercise it. I didn't say you display it. I didn't say you practice it. I said you like it. And what I'm saying to you is this. LeBron James is a basketball player. Now, he might be a millionaire, a multi-millionaire, going on a billionaire. And he might be accomplished in a lot of things. Hollywood is on the way. In the business stratosphere, he's done his thing, which you have accomplished things yourself. There's all of these things that are true. But at his core, the foundation of who he is that of an athlete who is a superstar, an elite, global, iconic figure of an athlete who, by the way, in my opinion, is too damn politically correct too often. There are plenty of times where LeBron James should have spoke up. There are plenty of times. By the way, let me look in front of this camera right now and say this to LeBron. There are times he should have cussed people out, including me. Because there are times where I've made a prediction. Shoot, they got it all over. I've been wrong the last 6 damn times.
Only like 2 weeks ago.
Man, I've been wrong. 2 weeks ago, 3 days ago, I've been wrong. You know, who gives a damn? I tell you how I feel. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It's what it is. But the point is, there are times where what we do, you're reporting. And it's like a soap opera. You might know the outcome. You might predict the outcome. It might be different than what you predicted. But you must chronicle what's transpiring at the time that it's transpiring. Because if we just went to the end, why would we pay attention to anything? So my point is, while doing so, sometimes you alienate the people that you talk about. I'm here to tell you right now, there's a couple of times that if LeBron cussed me out, I would have deserved it. And if I deserve to be cussed out a couple of times, God knows how many people deserve to be cussed out many, many, many more times. I applaud the fact that he's on that stage. He called out the Knicks, mentioned them about 3 or 4 times. They deserved it. He said, we ain't going to go there, but they deserved it about Moscow. They deserved it about Iman Shumpert. They deserved it about J.R. Smith. He's absolutely right about that. He talked about some BS stories that were put out there about the team, the dissension, etc., etc. That wasn't me. I didn't do that stuff. But the point is, he was right about saying that. And the fact that an S word or an F word or an MF word was thrown into the equation, I'm sorry, Will Kane, that does not diminish him. Now, I'm not saying that it's advisable to do it, but it's not like he rolled up here on national television and did it. And listen.
It's not?
So, no. Let me explain why.
It's authentic.
Let me explain why. You were on stage, you were in Cleveland, on the streets of Cleveland enjoying a parade. Ain't nobody asked the mics and the television networks to be there. You chose to show up. He didn't come to ESPN. or another network sit on it. I'm not questioning. Of course he knows. I'm saying to you, he didn't come on to our turf. He's sitting out there enjoying it with 1.3 million fans, who, by the way, most of them cuss. I'm sorry to break that to you. You might not know that, but most of them cuss. Okay? There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with it in that venue. It's real talk. And I applaud it.
I'm from Texas. You don't got to tell me about cussing.
Okay.
All right.
I want to make sure. I want to make sure
how we do it.
I want to make sure.
But let me just a couple quick points.
Go ahead.
Politically correct. I've never been called such an ugly thing in my life. What is politically correct? First of all, just a quick tangent. It's about ideas, and as long as we're complimenting each other, sir, you have been someone who has offered ideas consistently that I would call politically incorrect, and therefore a good contribution to challenging things people think.
Sure.
Because politically correct is about what you're allowed to think.
I appreciate that.
But the way you say it, that's different. Not you, now proverbial you. LeBron James should have original, unique ideas. He shouldn't toe the line of what anybody tells him he should think. But you can say it in a way. You can do it without all the cursing. You can do it in proper grammar when you're writing it. You can do it in ways that elevate your thought. And let me just say something. People say, you know, this is so arrogant of Will. It's so arrogant. You know what's not? It's not. It's nice.
I wasn't going to arrogant route.
Because
I wasn't going to arrogant route.
No, I know. But I'm showing respect. I'm being nice to LeBron because I'm telling you what other people think.
But what I'm challenging,
I'm telling you what
first of all,
Molly, you think this is just me?
Let's be clear. Let's be clear about something here. Who gives a damn what other people think?
You do. Everyone does.
I'm getting there. Especially if it's LeBron James. In that moment. Now, I understand that for the most part, wait a minute, he spends pretty much 365 days a year being cognizant, if not sensitive, at least cognizant of what other people think, which is why his career has been virtually flawless in terms of how he has conducted himself and his behavior. So what I'm saying, wait a minute, what I'm saying to you, Will, it is one thing to say you don't like it. It is another thing to say it lessens him.
He's above it. He's above it.
Really?
He got up that day. He thought about what watch he put on. He thought about what shirt he wore. He thinks about what people are looking.
I'm not saying that.
And he should have thought about his words as well. By the way, at the end of all this, you know what? Still the best basketball player in the world.
And by the way, at the end of it, the speech was pretty damn great as far as I'm concerned.
Hey, net plus, plus minus, it was a net plus.
Please don't use damn next time. We need to.
Oh, yeah, we got to make sure. We can't use damn. We can't use damn, right?
Speaking of the NBA, maybe the biggest free agent on the market this summer is Kevin Durant. Several teams are interested in the former MVP, including the 73-win Warriors. Another potential free agent is LeBron James, who could opt out of his deal with the Cavs, but King James has said that he intends to remain in Cleveland next season. So assuming LeBron stays with the Cavs, I want to start with you, Will. Where should Durant play next season?
Oklahoma City, without a doubt. And LeBron gave him the perfect reason why. LeBron showed him over the past week where his rightful home is, where he should win, or at least attempt to win, his NBA championship. And that is Oklahoma City. Because not all championships, Stephen A., have the same value. Not all belts are worth the same. And LeBron James winning a title in Cleveland is easily worth 2 in Miami. Maybe more, maybe 3, maybe 4. One championship in Cleveland, I would suggest, means more to LeBron. Definitely means more to the city of Cleveland than the city of Miami. They're just simply not all the same. And there's 2 reasons for that. Relationships and ease of championship. LeBron, of course, we know, has a long-term relationship with Northeast Ohio. At this point, Kevin Durant has a long relationship with Oklahoma City. Not to the same depth of LeBron in Northeast Ohio, but still, a relationship nonetheless. One that could be like Kobe's relationship with L.A., or Duncan's with San Antonio, or Dirk's with Dallas. Guys that, in Kobe's case, been 20 years with one franchise, and with Duncan and Dirk, soon to be 20 years. That kind of deep relationship means when you can win a championship, if you can, it has much, much more meaning. And second, the harder road is the better road. To toil, to suffer, to fail, ups and downs, that's when victory pays off. If there's a sense that you signed up for an easy championship, it diminishes it. And that's another reason LeBron's 2 in Miami simply aren't worth what 1 in Cleveland is. He teamed up with his buddies in a super team and they won, and bravo to them. I don't begrudge you wanting to play with your friends. But when you do that, it's just not the same as when you toil up and down forever with a team and eventually win. Going to Golden State would be the easy path for Durant. Stay in Oklahoma City. It'll mean more.
So you think that championships are elevated because it makes you feel better? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Yes, I do.
Really?
Yes.
And you know this how?
This,
you see, here's the deal.
I got like 9 belts. Today I got 3.
Here's the deal.
Just on this show.
Keep dreaming. Here's the deal, Will. There is no doubt that LeBron James' championship in Cleveland is the greatest feeling of his career. But let's not minimize Miami. First of all, you need to get to South Beach more. I'm quite sure your feelings will be just a touch different, just a touch. Secondly, and more importantly, let's also remember something here, that when LeBron went to Miami, the title had eluded him. His legacy was being tainted significantly. There was the loss to the Spurs in 07. Then he goes to Miami, and then the expectations of the Big Three and the celebration prior to when he first arrived there in that July. And then ultimately to get to the postseason and to have it evaded because your Dallas Mavericks, and with Rick Carlisle and Dirk Nowitzki and the crew, and J.J. Barea and those boys, and ultimately knocked him off, and LeBron James was as small as he had ever been in his professional career. Because that title eluded him when he finally beat Oklahoma City, that was a very significant thing. So even though it wasn't ideal and it didn't fit as great as Cleveland did this week and yesterday with that parade, he didn't know that yet. So winning that first championship, no matter where it came from, meant a great deal, because ultimately it felt good to be a champion. It felt great to be recognized as a champion. And more importantly, in today's day and age with Twitter, Facebook, and beyond, and all of the other stuff that comes with it, they were able to market themselves exponentially. And LeBron James, even though he was a global brand before, he became iconic because when in 2008 they played in the Olympics and they all sat down with Kobe, Kobe let them know, look, the championship is it. Because when they went to Shanghai, you thought you would see all of these posters of Yao Ming. There were posters of Kobe because he was the champion. And that's why they had a lot to do with him going to South Beach. So what I'm saying to you is that although I agree with you that Oklahoma City should be the place for him to be, it's for only one reason and one reason only. They are already a championship caliber team. Where the hell are you going? It's not that he would be wrong to leave, to go to Golden State or San Antonio or Miami or someplace else. It's that he would be wrong to depart from a championship contender when you are a superstar in this league, and there's no excuse, because if you're everything you're supposed to be, you should be enough to propel Oklahoma City to the title.
I think we agree.
That's different.
I think
we agree, but for different reasons is what I'm saying. That happens on the show sometimes.
I understand we're running out of time. 2 simple questions, okay? Are all championships worth the same value?
It depends.
On what? The individual winning them?
The individual winning them.
But you know they have different value to some people then.
To some.
Would it be easier if he left? To Golden State at least?
To Golden State it would be worse, but what if he went to Miami?
All right, well.
A lot of people trying to beat down Stephen A. today, but earlier in the show, Coach Cal asked who won the debate, and when it's Coach Cal, you ask and you shall receive. So we had a Twitter poll. Here's what our First Take fam had to say. The people are with him right here. Stephen A. Smith won. Close margin, though, 54%.
It shouldn't have been that close. It's just people wanting to hate on me. Maybe one of these days I might give somebody out there the pleasure of getting beat down on me across the
on
We might have a contest one day if they think they can mess around. Yeah, I might do that.
You should do
I might do that. I'll think about it.
I love that idea.
I'll think about it.
I think Stephen A's playing on his home field. I think the field is a little salted.
Really?
How was Coach Cal going to win?
But you felt like you
would know that. You didn't lose. You didn't win.
We didn't put that. We didn't put that out.
I wouldn't do that to you. I don't want to put that. I don't want to embarrass you like that. I like you.
Right is right. I don't care what the crowd thinks. I don't need.
Oh gosh, it sounds like you do because you're editing everything that you put out there.
There we go.
Lemmings gathering herds. That doesn't make them smart. That doesn't mean they're headed in the right direction, Molly.
Well, it was fun. You did a fantastic job today. We appreciate you. Stephen A., always good to have you.
Yes. I'm on vacation.
I know. Bye.
July 11th.
He'll be back, though, everybody. Don't worry.
I'm not leaving. I'll be back.
This weekend, Corey Seager and the Dodgers head east to face Starling Marte and the Pittsburgh Pirates.
The other way for Corey Seager. That's some kind of power.
Saturday at 6 Eastern and Sunday at 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio.